Hello and good afternoon, all you foxgloves and snapdragons out there. Welcome to the next episode of Handmade Home Shopping here with myself, your host, Fairy Princess Lolly, and we have an all-new lineup of vendors for you today. They are going to show to you their wares that you might peruse and buy from them this week. So without much further ado, I would just like to encourage you, please hit the like and subscribe button. And as a quick reminder for anybody who is new to the show, all the vendors' information and links will be, they are currently in the low bar and the description wherever you are watching from, Facebook, Twitch, or the YouTubes. And with that said, I am going to go ahead and introduce here. I have with me our very first vendor, Jerry from the Selective Scrivener. Say hello, Jerry.
Good evening, Princess.
And please tell us about your business, where you're from, what you do, all about yourself. Go.
Sure. I have a little business up here in the frosty state of Maine. I make pens out of wood and out of acrylic. So I cast my own acrylic, select nice hardwoods and excellent pen kits, and turn them on my ancient lathe, and end up with some pretty good-looking stuff.
Ancient lathe. If your lathe is that ancient, then I am even more impressed by your work.
It's
being a pen lover.
Yeah, it's a cast iron lathe from craftsmen from like the 20s.
Wow, that's actually kind of cool, to be perfectly honest. So, do you have anything with you today that you would like to show us? And shall I turn the screen over to you?
Sure, I've got all kinds of things here in my big case of wares. First thing I'd like to show you is just a glimpse of all of the things that I have available.
Oh,
We
wow.
have quite a selection. All of these
whole
are
rainbow.
up on my Etsy store. We have stuff from some redwood, some delightful redwood burl here. And this is the Gothica style pen. All the way to a cast acrylic.
What does
copper.
cast acrylic mean?
So there are various ways to make things out of plastic. And there are various different types of plastics you can make things out of. For instance, if you roll dice, those are usually cast out of a type of plastic called acrylic. I use a very, very hard type of acrylic that starts off as a 2-part chemical. I mix them, mix in the colorants and any other cool stuff, and then vacuum all of the air out of it, cast it, put it into my pressure pot to get rid of all the bubbles, and then cut it to size, and then turn it on the lathe.
So you don't just buy these as like a pre-made pen package. You literally do the mixing all the way from the beginning.
Exactly. So when I purchase a pen kit, what the kit gives you is the hardware, the metal parts, because I'm not set up for metal casting quite yet. Not quite yet.
But you intend to be?
Not quite yet. Maybe at some point. So I get the metal parts, but really the artistry comes in turning the patterns and the shape and getting that finish on there. You see that shine? All of my
yes, I
pens
do.
have this amazing hard shine to it. So if I'm making an acrylic one, what I start with is just 2 chemicals, mix them, and then add the color, and it turns into something like this, which is just a tube of various colors. And some people cast them as squares and then turn them down on the lathe. I cast them as tubes so that I lose a little less material. And I turn that tube into a fantastic pen, such as this cool steam pump pen.
Oh, wow.
Where it has this excellent copper, sparkly pen barrel here. One of the reasons why I love this kit this is how you.
It's the click button for yes.
It's very satisfying. It's a very satisfying pen.
That is fantastic. I feel like I need a better word than fantastic, something more grandiloquent to describe fabulousness of your pen.
When it comes to pens, I mean, any 10-cent Bic that you can get, 100 a box from Staples, you can write with it. That's fine. This is an item where if you have a special occasion that you want to celebrate, or if you use a pen in your daily work, why not have a good one? Why not have one that speaks to your personality, that looks good, that feels good in your hand, and that you can replace the ink cartridges with a high quality ink cartridge that you know is going to write well.
Oh, so those are also refillable then. What
Yes.
what does the ink cartridge look like for those? Are you able to show us?
Sure. So on some of these pens, the ones that are ballpoint pens, the ink cartridge is just inside, and you can put it in. And for these classic mid-century modern styling pens, these are kind of like the great daily driver. I use several of them. You just unscrew it as normal, and then out comes your regular Parker style pen refill. You can get these from Staples. This is a high-end one from the company Schmidt, and this is a very nice ink. All the pens that I sell come with a Schmidt refill, just so you know what a really nice high-quality refill feels like.
There is definitely a difference. As somebody who likes to write a lot, I can attest. I can attest to the difference in qualities of pens. So let's take a look here, just really quick, at your web store, if we can.
Sure.
This is wonderful. How did you get into doing this?
It all started. I had an idea for a project for a friend's wedding. I wanted to make a wax seal stamp with their initials on it, and so I did. But to do that, I needed to get a lathe, and I'd always wanted an excuse for a lathe. And once I had a lathe, I just started turning everything: little bowls, all kinds of handles for tools, and so on and so forth. And then while I was doing some research, I saw some pens that somebody had made, and I'm like, those are fantastic. I love that. And I just had to start making them.
Got there and you were hooked.
Totally.
That is wonderful. So I have a question that's
sure
of a relation to personal interest in your craft. Since you since you mix the resin for I'm sorry, I want to say epoxy, but I know that is the wrong word. For the cool colored ones that you do,
yes,
this must give you acrylic. Thank you. This must give you very good control over the specific color that you're able to produce.
Exactly.
And so are you capable of doing pink pens?
I certainly am. I am capable of doing pink pens, and when you're working with acrylic, there are two to three different choices you can make. The first one is, what is your base color? Say pink. Then you would come up with a nice solid color acrylic that is all one color. This one is a purple acrylic, and then you choose if I want to put something in it. For instance, this purple, and it's a little difficult to tell there, but when I show you the final product, you see how it has gold sparkles in it.
Oh, yes.
So you
definitely
can choose to add in a nice deep sparkle to give it a luster. This is a purple and gold Victorian style pen. It's got this great
very ornate. Yeah, it's really ornate.
Very ornate. and I thought that purple and gold would be a very rich color for it. And then the other choice is one color or two. You can actually take your acrylics and make two different colors and mix them together and get swirls of two different colors as well. You may notice on my website, amazing. It's got a nice little custom order section, and I do custom orders.
Yes, I think I was looking at your Etsy store, but since you have mentioned the custom orders, are people able to also order custom through Etsy, or should they send you a message, or either or?
You can order custom through Etsy. I recently finished a custom order, and this is a Gaelic style pen, and Ooh. It's got the Celtic knot, and it's got a nice green accent gem on top, but it is made out of bloodwood, which is this lovely wood that has such a deep luster to it. And this one just happens to be a fountain pen.
You do fountain pens! Oh my gosh!
I do indeed. And this is a nice high-quality fountain nib. You may also notice that this one does not unscrew, it's magnetic.
Oh,
which is very
satisfying. That's fancy.
Well, yes. Fancy is the name of the game.
That's true. Although I will say I personally like the screw ones with the fountain pens and the magnetic ones with the ballpoint pens, because the fountain pens, if you do not use them constantly all the time, and some of my pens are kind of designated for travel, so they go in their special pen box and I use them when I travel, but that screw lid helps to keep them from drying out just a little bit longer because it's a little more airtight. That's one of the things I've discovered along the way. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. And so all of your links have been going there in the ticker below, and you are the Selective Scrivener, and that is your own URL as well as also on Etsy, where people can find you and purchase your wonderful handmade things. I know. Now I'm feeling the click bug. Click. Yes.
Order all you want. I send them all. Come with free shipping, and I send them all USPS priority mail.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday and weekend. Absolutely.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh, that is not what I'm looking for. Yay, here's what I'm looking for. Okay. So we are off to a good start today. And we will be moving on here to our next guest in just a second, who is, we have Ruth, and Ruth is from Badger Creek Studio. Let me find her and bring her in here. Did I get that name right? Rita. I'm so sorry, Rita. I called you, I read your name wrong. I'm terrible. There you are. You're like, who's Ruth? I don't even know what's happening right now.
And I can go, have a drink or something.
No. Welcome to the show, Rita from Badger Creek Studio. Oh man, I have a thing in my eye, but that's no excuse. I just read your name wrong.
You're all good. All good.
All right. Well, please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us who you are and what you do there at Badger Creek.
My name's Rita Townley, and I do hand-painted horns. We do also a lot of plain horns. I can show you some. I definitely have a lot here. I made a pile.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, those kinds of horns.
These kind of horns. Big drinking horns.
I was thinking wearable satyr.
Yeah. Well, you could. The bull did it.
That would be a massive headdress. Yes,
I've actually seen some people do it. Okay.
Well, I applaud them on their amazing outfitry. So
yeah. What we do is, these are some of our big Texas Longhorn horns. These we don't do a whole lot to. We do put the copper band on. When we get them, they're pretty raw. We sand them all down. And then, because horn is a natural material and we like to keep them very low maintenance, we coat the inside with a resin. And then the outside is also coated, and that protects the horn. My personal horn is probably, it's old enough to drink. It's like 23, 24 years old now. So they do last a lifetime.
Your horn can have its own drinking horn.
It can. This is more what I do specialize in, and this is a wolf. I think you unfortunately get a bit of a glare, but this is my favorite part. I painted a Viking shield on the other side.
Wow.
So normally these, the glare is a little hard to see, but the problem is when I did coat it, for somehow I got a little chunk out of it, so I have to redo the whole horn. But that's okay, because it's going to go to a home that's going to be loved. We're up here in Arkansas, believe it or not, and I was kind of inspired because the neighbors were talking about fireflies here at night, and I haven't seen fireflies. I'm originally from up in Washington, up in your neck of the woods. So this is lilies. This is dark purple lilies, and you could see I painted fireflies all over the horn. So they're glowing.
My gosh.
Yeah. And all of our horns come with a drinking strap, and then they also come with a nice polar fleece bag so that when you go places, you could pack it in the bag and take it with you. They're also really pretty on your wall. But they're all meant to drink out of. This one, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so they're all food grade. I'm kind of curious, though, as to how much liquid those enormous horns hold.
I have one, actually, I didn't, this one would. This one is over 40 ounces.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he has a beautiful curve to it.
Yes, it does. I love that.
The other, I do smaller ones too, so they're not all the big ones. The big ones, a lot of them, like the wolf, when he goes to his forever home, he comes with a certificate of authenticity. So I promise to never make another one like him. He'll be the only one ever. But we also do these smaller ones, and a lot of our customers are into the Norse, so that one's a Volk knot. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, we do a couple other things. We do some shot glasses. These are really nice for mead.
Those are super cool. Can you hold it close so we can see it real good in the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, those are super cute.
We coat the inside of these, so they're all food safe. And all of our horns also, we guarantee them. They ever leak or anything happens, barring running them over with a truck, we fix it for you.
So are they dishwasher safe?
No. I get asked that all the time. The horn on the outside of these cups is the natural horn. It's been polished. So what we recommend is about once every several months, you're going to rub them down with a little bit of coconut oil, but you can hand wash them in your sink. And the other thing on our horns, one of the reasons that we seal the inside is because horns are porous. So if there's any, and I find them, little dings or chips in there, the resin will seal them. If you get any kind of sticky, sweet stuff down in there and it grows bacteria, not good for you. So we're very, very careful about that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Good things to know about uncoated horns.
Always be careful.
Extra clean in this time. Well, let's take a look at your website.
You'll be surprised. We also sell soap. My business partner is a soap vendor, and he makes some really great products too.
All right. Well, I'm looking for you to get you all pulled up here. Let me grab your. Oh,
our website we just rebuilt our website. It's really, I'm quite proud of it. He, my business partner and boyfriend, he spent a couple years on it in the works.
They can be quite tedious, especially if you are selling things online. That can be its own.
It's a learning curve for sure.
So you're down in. I'm sorry. You said at Alabama.
No, currently we're in Arkansas. We do full-time. We're full-time Renfaire. So,
you travel all around the country.
We do. We're in our RV right now. We live in our RV. We make soap in our RV, and we make the horns in our RV.
Oh my gosh. I hope you have good ventilation.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually a toy hauler, and there's Keegan installed extra ventilation in the back.
So here we have your website. Hey. Oh my gosh. This looks great. Well, tell your partner, fantastic job on the website. That looks wonderful.
He did a good job on it. Most of the
Here's
stuff, well,
horn.
almost everything that we
Oh, look at
do,
this.
one of us or a member of our team has made it.
So what is your home fare, since you are from up here, but now you are in Arkansas and you travel all over the place? What
We
is
do.
your original home fare?
I would say Arizona. Keegan is
Arizona?
originally from, yeah, he's from Tucson, and that was the very first fair we ever did, and that's one of our favorites. But we do Arizona, we do Southern California, and then we were going to do Scarborough this year, but everything happened. So our next one would be Bristol, Wisconsin, and then we're off to Minnesota, and North Carolina ends our season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're busy.
Well, you still, at least you still have some fairs going. So
hopefully, we're crossing our fingers.
Fingers crossed. We'll keep them crossed for you too, because it is surely a thing.
Yeah.
I think that every major Renaissance fair that is up here in the Washington and Oregon states are canceled. So
yeah, I heard Washington did.
Yep, Washington and Oregon, Renfaire and Canterbury, and they're just all.
Yeah.
I mean, they waited as long as they could, but.
Right. I know it is what it is, though. But one thing that we found is that we are reinventing ourselves, and I think that's really important right now. I've been learning a lot how to do, and my hat's off to you, how to do film editing and splicing and putting in music. And like I said, Keegan built a new website, so we're trying to take it to a new level. But I feel your pain there. It's a lot to learn.
It is a very steep learning curve. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Before you go, I'm pretty sure I do recall that you were participating in the magic word. Is that correct?
We were. You betcha. I could show you what we do.
Okay.
If you order from your show, which when I leave, I'm going to continue to watch it because I'm hooked. I've started watching you, and I really like your show. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes me feel so good. Thank you.
It is. It's well appreciated. We're going to do a 2-ounce guest size of our soap.
Oh.
Yeah, and it smells great.
I believe it. You look like you had so many good soaps. I'm like, oh, you should come back on the show again and do soaps next time.
Yeah, we will. I would love to.
All right. Well, the magic word for all of you watching at home, just so you know, when you go to purchase at Badger Creek Studios website, just enter the magic word in the checkout comments. The magic word this week is Mayfair, since we're in May and we wish we had fairs. It's Mayfair.
Yes. Well done.
That is, yes, and you will receive your surprise bonus gift with your order from Badger Creek Studios. All of the information is again in the low bar. Give them some like and subscribes, and we will bid you adieu here for the weekend. Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You bet.
Okay, so moving on then, that was great. I think I might know 1 or 2 people who need some fantastic drinking horns, maybe, possibly. So our next vendor is, now I hope I'm saying this right, and I believe that I am. I'm bringing you in here. Yes, now. Is it? Let me try before you correct me. Is it Alpha Officium?
That would be the more modern parlance. In Latin, it would actually have been pronounced Alpha Officium.
Officium.
Officium. And it means first workshop, which was what the Romans did with their mints when they had so many workmen. They divided them into offices or sections, and Alpha was the first.
And is this to represent that it is the master craftsmen that are in like the first workshop and going down from there? Is that?
In a sense, they could rely upon their best people were usually in the first workshop.
So please introduce yourself now, as we have heard some history of your actually, I think, very cool name for your business, and tell us what it is you do and where you're from.
My name is Mark Kaufman. I participate mostly in the SCA for a number of years. I've been at this coin making gig is what I do. I make reproduction and replica coins and medallions and tools, jewelry, things like that. And I've been at this for 35 years. I've enjoyed it immensely. I participated in the Society for Creative Anachronism for that length of time. But the last 7 to 10 years, I've kind of drifted a little more closer to FAIR. I've had numerous friends that have been members of FAIR for years. And I don't know, it's started to take on a life of its own. I did this as a hobby, and now I do it as a business. And it's just continues to grow. In fact, the plague time that we're experiencing right now is actually my business has just taken off.
So can I ask you some questions about your coins? I believe you're the first coin maker I've had on the show. So now I'm like, aha, you are my captive audience, sir, and I have questions for you.
I love questions. I live for questions.
Well, first of all, give a shout out, since you're SCA, give a shout out to your kingdom, where you're from. Say hello to all your people out there watching from home. Where are you from?
Shout out to West Kingdom in the SCA, the first kingdom in the SCA. And all my friends and customers, they know me quite well. And my society name is Master Emmerich of Wackerfell. People just call me Emmerich most of the time. It's an old name.
Well, shout out to all your people then. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, one, do you have some coins with you there that you can show to us today?
I do. I lined up a number of things to show you, including one with a very interesting story.
Okay, well, let's just start right there then, and I'll let you do the talking and save my questions for last.
Okay. Well, during the Middle Ages and Dark Ages in particular, the principal coin was the silver penny, about the size of a
Very
US
close.
cent. Yeah, very close. Yeah,
Yep. There we go.
Camera, here we go. This is just the size of a silver penny. It's about the same size as a US cent. It was made of silver, and that was a day's wage for the common man. And as time went by, coins, of course, got a little bit bigger. They were about the size and value of 4 pennies. This is what they call a groat, or in Islamic countries, it was known as a dirham. And then much later, into about the 17th century, coins got really big, about the size of our silver dollar. And this is what we call a piece of 8. They were from the Spanish colonies in the New World. And then, of course, interspersed with all that were gold coins. We use a gold-toned metal that took me a long time to acquire, but it looks very much like 14 carats. So we made a point of making use of that right away to diversify what we do. And then, of course, I say the best for last. This is a coin of Edward VI, who was the son of Henry VIII. And I wanted to make this coin. It's a very pretty coin, and it's got a nice portrait on it. And come to find out that my ancestor actually had a hand in producing those coins. He was the minister of the mint for Henry VIII and Edward VI in York.
Wow. Yeah,
and so I guess you could say coin making runs in my veins.
I guess it must. Now, how do you get the stamps or the templates that you use to, I don't know what you call them. I'm sorry.
They're called dies. And you have
dies,
essentially 2 sets of dies. They looked a little more like this. And this was driven into a wooden stump. And this is a lower die called a pile die. And then you had an upper die called a trussel. And you would bridge the two with your hands, strike the back of the upper die with a hammer, and produce the strike of the pattern that you were after. I use pretty much the same process. You can see the wear is developing on this one. It expands out. But they're highly engraved, a combination of engraving and punched. And of course, I make most of my own tools. And you just, if you can think of it as like television, so many dots make up a picture. That's pretty much what die engraving is like. You remove metal, or you displace the metal, and you make patterns of people's faces or Gothic architecture or whatever, and then you produce the design required. But you got to remember, you got to work in reverse, because you have to make the reverse set of dies that'll make a positive looking coin.
Yes, like the negative of what you're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite fascinating. How much does one of those weigh? I'm curious.
Oh, one of the dies.
Yeah, they look very heavy.
Just a couple of pounds, really, but mass, as we say, kicks it. So what we do is I have a 300-pound oak block sitting underneath a 40-pound iron bolster that holds the lower die, and mass really makes it happen.
So here is your website that we are looking at, and shall we go take a look at your shop?
Oh, absolutely.
Now you said that when all of this started this year, suddenly you saw an uptick, and I'm curious, do you have coins that have the Plague Doctor on them?
No, I do not. It takes a while to produce a set of dies. I mean, I can produce something from the Dark Ages in about a couple of hours, but some dies, take 20 plus hours to cut or engrave to make something. And they're just,
these are so cool.
As a crazy artist, I just get locked into doing all kinds of things. You see a new thing that you want to make and you work on it. And I get a lot of requests from people to make different things from different eras. Almost every nation or state or city has had some sort of coin of their own. And so I'm endlessly busy making new designs.
So what is a Viking hack silver ingot?
A Viking hack silver ingot, the Vikings were very, very attracted to silver. It was almost a part of their religion. And hack silver was almost anything from a coin that's been cut up to a metal plate that was a corner protector on a book. Anything that was made out of precious metal, in particular silver, they would grab, and it didn't matter if it was cut up or broke because they didn't come from a monetized society, so they weighed out everything. And if you had a transaction, you had all these little broken pieces of silver, you could weigh it out.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. What is a excuse me? What is a piece of 8? How much is a piece of 8 worth? Do you know?
A piece of 8 was it's hard to equate values because things were a little bit different as were wages from the time periods that we're talking about. A little skewed. Money had a lot more buying power, but a piece of 8 could literally be the ancestor of our modern silver dollar, which we don't really use anymore in this country. But it was of a certain weight. It was almost an ounce of silver, and they would cut it up into halves, and quarters, and they would make change. That's where you hear the term 2 bits. It was 2/8 of a silver dollar is cut down into pieces.
And so now I'm looking over here at it said make your own coins, and I thought that is really cool. And so
it's
a ducat. Oh, this is the word you used earlier, a groat.
A groat, yes. That's a 4-penny piece.
A 4 what?
4-penny piece.
Oh,
yeah, in other words, it had the value of 4 pennies. Larger denominations didn't really start coming around until about the 13th century.
And then how about a ducat?
A ducat. Oh, a ducat. A gold ducat of Venice was kind of the original start. It was one of the most long-lived coins. It was the international currency of its time. You could buy and sell almost anything with a gold ducat. But in particular, the design did not change for hundreds of years. It was originally issued probably in the 13th century, and then continued all the way until the 18th century, almost unchanged in its design. That's how much it was liked and appreciated.
Wow. You know so much. I'm having so much fun just asking you questions about all of these coins.
I spent way too much time in books, I got to tell you. But you have to know the history because there are customs and traditions. And, coins are a tactile thing. And as humans, we like to run, the treasure in your hands, as it were. The jingle of money. And so it's kind of an infectious thing. People really like to hold these little trinkets that give something to their kit, their persona. Yeah, it's just a little added extra that it doesn't cost much, and it is a lot of fun to make too.
Well, I sort of think that I sort of think that over here in the New World, Americans sometimes miss out on exactly what you're talking about with regards to the feel of coins, because having been to a couple of other places around the world, and especially countries that have more coinage in use than we do as opposed to bills, their coins are just different, and they sound different, they clink together differently, and some of them are just so much more satisfying to be like rip, rip, like
each one of them is this little work of art that someone slaved over at some point to create this beautiful
yes.
portrait or something, and that's pretty much what we do as well. It's just something that's it's got an ancient history and fits in your pocket, goes where you go. It can buy things for you. It advertises. It politicizes in some ways. It's just a long history that parallels humanity.
Very authoritative when you go into the tavern and you toss your pouch of coins there onto the table and order your flagon.
Well, I've had the benefit of making coins for queens, Queen Elizabeth at some of the fairs, as it were. And I got a letter or a little postcard one time with a note. It was really nice. And it was signed Elizabeth. And it was in thanks because I had donated some coins to her to distribute to her peers and her friends. And it was a lot of fun.
That is very cool and kind. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show this afternoon. Now, I don't think I have a note here about whether or not I heard back from you on the magic words. So is that a thing that you were going to do or going to pass on?
I hadn't set it up, but I'm willing to give it a shot right now.
Okay, well, it's actually quite simple. Just for those viewers and customers watching at home, anybody who orders within the next week from your store, we ask them to put the word Mayfair, the magic word Mayfair, into the checkout comments, and they will receive some small bonus gift of your choosing to go in with their order.
I will make sure that they get a little grab bag of a cross section of what we make.
That is very generous. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, likes and subscribes. All of the information is going down there in the low bar for Alpha of Officium. Yes. I got it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
All right. Well, that is excellent. And now I want coins made in my own image. I think that is a thing that should happen. I'm not saying that it actually will happen, but it would be so great. All right. So moving on to our next vendor is Sinister Metalworks. And I'm welcoming them back because they were here with us on Wednesday. If you saw Fey News Network our episode this Wednesday, and we had a long form interview and show and tell. So, but not with you, good sir, with your lovely other half, as I understand it. Uh-oh, I do not hear you. Oh, there we go. Now you're off mute. Nope, I still don't hear you. Uh-oh, I'm going to hit my little mute button and see if that helps. You have a very Don Quixote look going on here. Oh no, is that sad? Should I not have said that? I love Don Quixote. So you can hear me, but I can't hear you. So this is my suggestion for when this happens, because it's not unusual. Just leave the studio and come back into the studio really quick, and we'll see if that fixes the sound. It usually does. Or the technically advanced person, woo, we saw them cut in there just for a second. So they were going out and they will come right back in, and then we shall be graced with the amazing, oh man, he was all dressed up too. We got to see all kinds of armor. So come on back, guys. Thank you, everybody who's watching out there at home. Please, if you would all be so kind, hit that like and subscribe button, or as I like to say, huzzah, the like and subscribe, and maybe even share to your Facebook and or Twitters, wherever you are. There they are. I see them back.
Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yay!
I told you that usually fixes it.
It did.
I mean, I wasn't trying to say I told you so. I mean, I'm just saying that's happened before.
Yeah.
So, good morrow, hail and well met, sir. Please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us about your amazing studio.
Well, I'm Mr. Sinister of Sinister Metalworks, and I produce crowns, circlets, headpieces, and armor for a living. These are all hand-hammered pieces. The coloration is not a dye, paint, or stain. Everything you see here is the color of the metal itself. There are certain colors that I cannot produce, but like I said, everything you see from here, check it out. Black and copper. Yeah, thank you. To what we call antique and blue.
Can you hold that one a little bit closer and just real slow? Yep, real slow with that rotation there.
There, now.
Perfect.
Let me get the fingers out of the way there.
It's very Valkyrie.
Yes, it was actually inspired by Lord of the Rings. It's not directly from Lord of the Rings, but do you remember the Argonath, the two kings, the statues in the water?
I absolutely do. I love them.
Well, both of those kings are wearing helmets, and aspects of both helmets were combined together and interpreted as this crown.
That is awesome. And so this is what you call it, is the Argonath?
Yes. I said it's inspired by. It's not directly from.
Right. No, it's awesome. and you are getting compliments here in our chat from viewers saying your armor is amazing. They love your armor.
Thank you. Actually, I'm going to be trying to use some of this general time off, as it were, to try to finally update it. This is, to me, not awesome anymore. This is over 6 years old. I was nowhere near as good as I am now. And if you could see the suit that I can see rotating neatly in my mind, you would agree this isn't but so nifty.
Well, that still looks pretty nifty. Can you tell us about it, the various pieces that you have there, and these designs and whatnot?
Yes, I can. I'm not currently wearing the bottom of this suit because, this is pretty much what's showing. Yes. But as far as what's showing at the moment, I'm wearing a chest plate and pauldrons. My chest plate is an articulator. It allows me to bend from side to side fully and to compress fully forward, because this actually moves with me as I compress.
Oh, wow.
I can reach all the way across like this due to my articulating armholes. They're spring-loaded, and they compress inward when I reach across.
Wow. I kind of want to see the inside of that. I've never even seen armor that does that, I don't think.
I've seen one other suit, and only one other suit that had this, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's mine now. I'm going to have that.
So
that's a really cool idea.
Is this armor good for fighting in and doing combat-y like things?
This specific suit?
Well, the general armor that you make, because I see you have a ton of things behind you there on your shelves.
Yes, mostly crowns. I would like to do more armor, but the reality is that the market has spoken, and it has spoken for crowns repeatedly.
Well, armor is very specialized and very expensive, generally speaking.
It is.
So, and not you generally only have. I mean, I'm not saying that there are not ladies that just suit up and go Joan of Arc on everything, but I think that most of the people I see in armor are usually men, which means you've lost kind of, probably 40% of people out there even. So that makes sense. Are you able to show us some of the crowns that are in the background?
Absolutely, completely. Actually, I have some in the foreground here off to the side.
All right.
This, for instance, is the Sinister. This is actually named after my company. Let me get rid of my hand here.
Oh yeah, I can see that. And this is now this in the middle. This is in the
gem.
Yes.
Yeah, the gem is not actually a gem. None of my pieces have gems in them. What this is another piece of steel differentially colored to the rest of the piece. This is the blue color of steel.
So I will,
Here, let
speaking
me
of
bring
the
it up closer
color
here.
of steel, yeah, nice and close there. And you have a question from a customer out here saying,
Sure, go.
says, I'm making a unicorn fairy queen masquerade gown inspired by Labyrinth. Could you do a
Okay.
crown that is rose gold tones?
Oh, no, the closest, well, we have, 1 second here. Let me find correct piece. No, that's not, oh, yeah, like that, and find me a red one. Find the red samurai. Okay, so what we've got here is 3 different colors that we can do. Like I said, I'm limited to the things that I can actually make metal turn. We're not adding colors to this. So right here is the closest. Oh, and this doesn't show up on camera all that well, a little bit. But this is as close as we can get to gold. It's, I will admit, not my favorite color. It's not but so intense of a color.
You
And
can see that it looks gold, though. At least I can on my end.
It does. So. Yeah, it does look gold. It comes with a warning in that it fits, as far as the color goes, it does fit some people, but this is a color that's extremely particular to skin tone. And if you don't have exactly the right skin tone, oh boy, it just doesn't do anything for you at all. So,
well, if they're doing a costume, though, it may not matter because they may have some kind of a headdress or something that
this is true.
A wig and color change. So it's hard to know exactly what is going on there in the mind of the visionary. So,
as far as a reddish goes, this is as close as we can get. Wait a minute. As close as we can get to a red. It's not a true red. It kind of gives the impression of red, though.
Almost like it's been infused with blood.
Possibly.
But you admit to nothing.
Nothing at all. When the elves come in to do the coloring, I don't ask questions. Just think it's done. The third
are they elves or red caps? I'm not sure.
So the other third coloring that's a reddish or a goldish is this, which is our reddened copper. But
see, to me, that looks actually quite gold, and that just might be a lighting thing via the, the monitor.
I'm extremely colorblind. Would you say this has a gold to it, dear? Yes, she agrees it does have a gold to it.
Yes, that looks very shiny gold to me. And but the hold on, bring that back. Back.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
The black is not shiny.
No. Actually, this is the only color that I've got that is not a commercial secret for me. This is a commercially available product called Antique Black.
Well,
it's
beautiful.
Thank you. I wish I could take responsibility for it. It's an amazing product to use. You put it in a spray bottle and you spray it on steel, and steel is black. I mean, just black. Instantaneously.
Well, I kind of like that the brushed. What did you call it? Antique black. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, this is called Antique Black. Yes, and you can vary it. You can actually vary its properties too. This patina by doing different things to it during its process and before you actually put it on. You can alter how it looks. You can actually get it to be kind of a mottled, burnt, but have burnt brownish sort of going on, like something that's been through fire.
That is kind of cool.
Here,
you have
here, check this one out.
So what is the? Whoa. Oh, I really like that one. It's almost like it's got flames that are just.
Yeah, that was the goal, actually. You'll notice I'm very proud of this because after having done this job for nearly a decade, I finally came up with an asymmetric design. That isn't easy to do. It's because normally crowns are the same from side to side, obviously. This one is not. If you look closely, you'll notice that not a single one of the flames is actually repeated.
Oh
They
yeah.
are all individuals. And in fact, these two here are both slanting off in this direction. But nevertheless, when you look at the whole, it balances out and looks equal.
Yes, it does. It
I've actually
absolutely
got,
does.
let's say I've actually got currently 3 more blueprints of an asymmetric design waiting to go. I just haven't had a chance to get to them yet. And another one that I think is going to look great, but I haven't refined it enough yet to actually make a product out of.
And so if I recall from your interview on Wednesday with your lovely other half, she was saying that every one of these is hand hammered.
Yes,
So,
that is correct.
like
Absolutely.
all of the designs are hammered in by hand. And
Yes.
now, how do you cut the metal? Or is that a trade secret?
Well,
I understand
no,
if things
that's
are
no
trade secrets.
No, it's not a trade secret at all, actually. Believe it or not, here, let me grab here. It all starts by taking a blueprint. Can you grab me a blueprint really quickly? You take a blueprint. She'll be here in just 1 second. Grab any one of them.
That's okay. We seem to be missing our last vendor. So I am
well, how fortunate.
yeah, happy to let you go ahead. I don't see them
For
down there in my
this
wings.
right here.
I'm going to
This right.
embiggen you really quick.
Okay.
Here we go.
This right here is a part of a blueprint from a brand new crown that I'm making. It's part of actually a custom contract. It isn't part of my usual lineup. They asked me to do a Shira crown. Well,
that's cool.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I went online to try to figure out exactly what this should look like, and it turns out there's a lot of variance on opinion as to what this thing actually looks like. Let me tell you what. The animators at Hanna-Barbera at the time, they drew it kind of from the same angle, regardless of what direction the person she was facing in. So basically, you kind of always saw it like this, no matter where her head was, kind of thing, except for they kept it on the side. You see what I'm saying? It never actually. And so looking at all these images, you come to the conclusion that because it's sort of the same no matter which way you rotate it, well, that these bits right here, that are the cheek guards, must be these enormous gold fat banana things coming down the side of your face. Well, I discounted that one right off, and I just came to the conclusion, well, I'm going to make my interpretation of what it should have looked like if they'd actually made it as a real object, taking as many cues from the show as possible. And yeah, you make this blueprint, you cut out, if you can see here, can you see that there's actually lines that have been, that the cardboard's missing through that here? Well, that's all drawn in by hand and then cut out with an X-Acto knife, okay? And then once you cut the piece of metal out, using these, just these, all the way down to 16 gauge steel, I cut bits out, the nose guards for helmets, the really heavy duty bit. Yeah, even those get cut out. Just snip, 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 snip.
Your hands must be incredibly strong.
Yes, they are. And they're ridiculously sized as well. And yeah, so
well,
anyway,
go ahead.
This gets put onto the steel plate, onto the sheet metal, and traced out, snip it out, right? And then you clean the metal up by hammering with a planisher. It's a machine. And then you come back and you put this template back down on that piece of metal that you cut out from the general sheet. And you trace around it with a sharp metal stylus to leave a hairline scratch in the shape that you want. Then you do the fine cutout with the snips. And then comes hours and hours of filing to get the edges all not merely smooth and not cut you, but actually profiled, rounded all the way around. So it's got a luxurious, nice feel to it. You know, it's not enough that it doesn't cut you. It should actually feel good.
That makes sense.
Then I put the patterns that you see scratched into the metal in with this hammer.
Nobody wants a fine shave whilst putting on their helmet.
No,
so.
no, they don't. So yeah, then it's the hammer. It's done with this hammer and this chisel right here. I had to manufacture this chisel myself. It's
wow.
It's a very, believe it or not, it looks like a lump of metal, but it's actually a quite exacting tool. They're all hammered in from behind, and you walk the chisel down the design as you're hammering. And then, in cases where you've got, here, let me show you here. This is here, where you've got not just lines, but fill going on. You can see how that's not just a line, but it's actually filled and raised, right? Well,
yes.
All that gets done with my beak hammer.
It looks like a duck.
You know, one of my friends, what did he call? Oh yeah, he asked me what this one was called, the lobotomizer.
Ooh. That is much less kind than a duck.
Yeah.
I mean, a duck might try to lobotomize you, but it's not going to happen for a really, really long time. Millions of dull packs.
You have to scale up to geese for that.
Yeah. Well,
trust me, if you've ever been around geese, yeah, they can do that. They're terrible.
Yes. They kind of get that low wings out, and they get the little.
It's the beak. The beak is what you have to worry about. They will hammer you like a bad joke. The antiquing, this right here, the beautiful antique finish that this has got, that's kind of looks like Damascus. That is put in with this custom-made hammer right here. Okay, and the antiquing on a piece this size, the size of a Sinister. You are looking, and that's done before any artwork or anything else. That's the first thing that has to get done to the metal is the antiquing, if you're going to be antiquing. And that, on a crown that size, you are looking at approximately 8,000 hammer blows before I ever start the artwork.
Oh my gosh. That is, wow. I can't even imagine.
Frequent breaks, like, you know, it's your hands, does make a little bit.
It sounds like it would. It sounds like it would be either. It just sounds like it would be something that would personally zone me out. Like you would just get into this zone of doing the thing, and time would disappear. And what's that?
You do, especially if you have your stereo going. Oh, this is my mug. It's a really cool mug. It's 1920s German Art Deco.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the guy who made this is largely responsible for the entire of Art Deco making it into pottery. That when the Art Deco movement happened, he brought it to pottery.
That is awesome. We are at exactly 5 o'clock, sir, and I would like to say one last thing since you are on the tail end here, and since we currently have a giveaway from your shop that is going in conjunction with today's show. So you guys are participating in the magic word, which is Mayfair. Yes. And so anybody watching from home, if you guys order from Sinister Metalworks for this next week, enter the word Mayfair into your checkout comments, and you will receive a surprise bonus gift with your order. But also, if you go to the Fey News Network show from this last Wednesday, so you can just find it here on our channel, and enter the word metal in the comments, and you kind of have to say it like that in your head as you do it, because metal. And to enter the word metal into the comments on that YouTube episode, and you will then be entered to win on this coming Wednesday's show. Yes, this amazing
this crown right here.
Yes,
which here it's this is kind of gonna be funny with the headphone. There we go.
There you go. You got it.
Yes.
That piece is going to be up for grabs. So, and also if you are a member on our Patreon, you will get an automatic entry into that drawing. So that is just one more thing, one more awesome thing. Thank you for watching our show
one more
so much,
moment,
everybody.
please, here.
Of course.
We offer 10% discount. Also, I'd like to put in here that my hair is going crazy. I would like to put in here that anybody ordering in the next week who uses the magic word can also get a 10% discount with us.
Oh, fantastic. Even better. Well, thank you. Gosh, you guys are so generous. Thank you so much for being amazing, awesome guests and coming on the show this afternoon.
We'd love to come back someday here.
Hey, I would look forward to it. So
if we get new product in, we'll inform you.
I will make a note of it too. And so I will bid you an adieu then this Sunday. Please remember, everybody, like and subscribe, and we will be back with you on Wednesday this week for the Fey News Network, and then of course on Friday for our author reads, and then of course next Sunday as well for the next episode of Handmade Home Shopping. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.